Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. My name is Muhammad Zulkifli Mustafa. So I'm sharing on the honey formation and quality and scientific insight behind the divine remedy. So this is part of our FRGS project on the understanding the natural stingless bee honey formation via aliphatic acid and polyphenol tracing towards standardization and medicinal honey development. Our co-researcher involve Professor Dr. Mahani Muhammad, Dr. Shahidah Akmal, Dr. Shazana Hilda, and also Dr. Morgana Das. So and this presentation will be more abstracts compared to specific project by Dr. Shabir just now. We have combined several projects to see on one objective on to understand the honey itself, with its current life and then the side effect of processed food, pollutions, pesticide, and many things that therefore we seek for the best supplements. And then honey is one of the sacred food in all culture. But the question is, do we really understand honey? Okay, so to begin with, I bring two big questions. Number one is how do we define the highest quality honey? And number two, what does it mean for honey to be described as a divine remedy? And as mentioned in the Quran, chapter 16, verse 69. So because we have 100 of publications highlighting the health benefits of honey, but yet most of it looks successful on the publication, but yet we are still far from the official recommendation or prescription. So here we try to explore on the mechanism of how honey being formed from nectar collections into the what we call bee digestion, and then also the pot activities that eventually determines the honey properties. And finally, we will try to see the reflection from the Quran. So basically, there are two types of bees that produce honey. And the first one is the common stinging honey bee, where they exist in less than 45 million years and keeps their honey in honeycomb. And then for the second bee on the right side is the stingless bee, or locally known as kululut, where these bees from the fossil of amber fossil, the bee actually exists more than 80 million years, where they keep their honey in honey pots. So as compared to the fructose in the honeybee honey, stingless bee honey produce a unique low glycemic index sugar called 3-halulose. So in this particular study, we will be focusing on the stingless bee. So this study involved several analyses, including analysis of pollen to see the original or the botanical origin of the honey analysis, and then also the to identify and quantify the chemical constituents of the honey, and also ultra microscopic physicochemical analysis and antioxidant analysis. So, upon the field observation, we can see that the bees are collecting nectar from the flowers and as well as from the fleshy fruits like papaya and pineapples. Later, the bees process the nectar via the regurgitation, as we can see from the video with the green background on the left side. So, they're bringing out the nectars using their proboscis and then mixing with the enzyme from their nasopharyngeal gland, and in which later they will store the honey inside the honey pots. And then later people harvest the honey using the suction pump, and then the output is the multiple honey pellets. All right, so in summary, to produce honey, bee utilize their proboscis and also their honey stomach, and then they also have a particular pollen bucket to bring the pollen to their nest. And finally, the bees keep their honey and pollen in a propolis container called pot. So in the first analysis, we evaluate the plant's origin of the honey by evaluating the types of pollen present in the honey. The videos here show how the bees bring and deposit the pollens into the honey pot. And so upon analysis, as showed by microphotograph, we identify multiple pollens from 40 genera and also 13 plant species. And for this particular sample, we can see it's abundant from the Metrium and also Cassia species, locally named, recalled as Pokok Angsana, the one that we see next to the road, with the beautiful yellow flowers, abundance yellow flowers. And then next, we analyzed that collected honey samples to evaluate the organic compounds inside the honey, and result showed several classes of organic compound, including the acids, alcohol, aldehydes, aromatic compound, esters, ketones, and on-site and outside. And among these, we detect this linalool oxide as the most abundant compound, where the compound previously reported to be a potent antimicrobial against MRSA and also methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus and also the Pseudomonas aeruginosa. But overall, we can see from this organic compound study, it's provide us an insight into the fermentation activities and also the botanical origin, as well as the sensory characteristic and microbial activities. Driven by the product of the honey, organic compound observed in the honey that showed there is a fermentation activities detected in the previous method. So we further evaluate the ultrastructure of the pods and observe here the mass population of bacillus and yeast, and this observation highlight to us the roles of pod as a natural bioreactor that contribute to the production of bioactive compound in the honey. So here we can see that the pods actually acts as a secondary digestive chamber for the honey formation. And further, antioxidant analysis of the honey identified that the collected honey sample exhibit antioxidant properties. And then further evaluation on the physicochemical, the honey contains several sugars, including very minor sucrose, and then small amounts of fructose and glucose, and then abundance of 3-hallulose sugar. So here 3-hallulose is again as a unique sugar abundantly found in stingless bee honey that set it apart from the regular honey. So overall, to understand this, when bee collects material from plants, they not only bring direct plant metabolite into the honey, but they also directly transform the components. And for example, the bees convert the sucrose from the fructose and convert the sucrose into fructose and glucose via the invertase enzyme, and then this glucose later transformed into gluconic acid and hydrogen peroxide, and sucrose also converted into 3-hallulose sugar. The glycolysis process later convert glucose into pyruvate acid and later acetaldehyde, and also form ethanol and acetic acid as well as other acid. So overall, the honey formation is a biocatalytic transformation process in which nectar sugars are enzymatically hydrolyzed, oxidized, and structurally rearranged by bee-derived and microbial enzyme, producing a complex matrix of monosaccharide, 3-hallulose, oligosaccharide, and also organic acids. So, to summarize this stingless bee honey carries several nutrition and benefit, including, of course, number one is the good taste of sweet and sour that increase in palatability of the honey. And then previous study have showed that that the honey rich in a protein, amino acid, vitamins, and minerals, and also the organic acid, as showed in this study, also that potentially used as antimicrobials, and then also the 3-hallulose as a source of energy and antioxidant, as well as the prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic, in which all of this can act as functional food with significant therapeutic potential. So as for discussion, reflection to the Quran presents observation about the universe, life, and natural process within a theological framework. However, and then currently we can see modern science has proved and confirmed several phenomena described in the Quran long before their empirical discovery. Therefore, this invite thoughtful examination of the relationship between divine revelation and scientific understanding. So, as particularly for honey, is specifically being mentioned in Surah An-Nahl verse 69, where specifically Allah mentioned, "A'udzubillah minasyaitonir rajim, summa kuli min kulli thamarati fasluki subula rabbiki zulula, yakhruju min butuniha syarabun mukhtalifun alwanuhu fihi shifaa'un linnas, inna fi dzalika la ayatan liqaumin yatafakkarun." And faith from the from the fruits that you please, and follow the ways that your Lord has made easy for you, and from the bellies come out a drink or honey of varying colors, in which there is a remedy for people. So surely is this in this is a sign for those who reflect. So, putting both perspective of revelation and science, Quran has highlighted several keywords. There are, number one is a thamarat, or means fruits, and then not specifically to that, the Tadabur tafsir, we put it in the bigger perspective of plant produce. And then another is a yakhruju min butuniha, means the come out from the bee bellies. I mean the specific honey stomach. And the third one is sharabun, a drink of fruits. And also the mukhtalifun alwanuhu, means of varying colors, and a fi shifa'un linnas, and in it is a healing for people. So our observation clearly showed that direct reflection of this, where bees collect nectars from the diverse botanical sources, including flowers and fruit flesh. And also we observe the enzymatic breakdowns on the regurgitation activities, and also via the honey crop or bee stomach, and then translate this into multiple color of honey, as mentioned by Mukhtalifun Alwanhu, of varying colors of honey. However, here I would like to draw attention here that Quran used the word sharab as a liquid from the bee stomach, and then this is not reflecting directly as a honey, like be mentioned in Surah Muhammad, where Allah used the word asal as refer to honey. But here it's meant more on the sharab. So we know the term sharab, or the drinks, refers to the liquid substance, or something, a biological active liquid medium, in which we understood in science with the presence of a good bacteria, together with the high moisture content, this will lead to the fermentation, in which this fermentation produce naturally a diverse appearance and properties, and also antioxidant-rich compound that refer to the honey, in which all these compound have been tested before to give several health benefit and tremendous health benefit to human being. So the question is, it now, if we refer to the international standard of honey, the moisture content was limited at 20% moisture content, in which this will never allow or slow down the what we call fermentation process. But this is different with, if we refer to Dr. Shabe's presentation just now, for the honeybee. It's not only the tualang honey, the honeybee also the Apis mellifera. The tualang honey is Apis dorsata. We also have Apis serrana, Apis florea, in which all these stinging bee honey, except Apis mellifera, they also the honey characteristic didn't fall to the standard, in which they beyond than 20% moisture content, because the hygroscopic nature of the honey itself, when it presented in the tropical country, allow for the humidity in the environment to be absorbed into the honey, and indirectly increase the moisture content in the honey, even though it is not kelulup, it is tualang honey. So therefore, that's why we can see the tualang honey also possesses several medicinal properties along with the stingless bee. So, as a conclusion, here we witness that the best quality honey represents a convergence of botanical diversity, microbial transformation, and also molecular complexity that translate ecological richness into human therapy potential. And then highlighted in the Quran as a type of remedy, the healing properties of honey is not accidental. It's ecological, biochemical, and divinely structured. And then the honey from all the unique and multiple composition we observe present in honey. So honey is a plant intelligence refined by bees and acts as a biological fertilizer for human physiology. So whenever we see a tablespoon of honey, is not just a honey. It is a story of a biochemistry factory by Ashafi, the healer. This project was presented at an international symposium in Philippines and won the Best Poster Awards. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Mohd for the FRGS grant and also our collaborators from Italy, Venezuela, Panama, and also Panama. So with that, I am my presentation. Thank you. And for further information, we can visit Honey and Natural Product Cluster or visit Anahal PPSP. So I pass back to Chairman.
Can you
Oh,
the
boleh.
questions?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Zul, for the very excellent and informative presentations. Actually, we need to open the floor for the questions, but in the chat board, we already have 2 questions. So, okay, the first one is from the Dr. Wan Fazlina. Is it encouraging to see positive results from studies where honey has been tested in experimental animals? What advice would you give to critical care specialists who want to start research on honey or other natural products in critically ill patients, especially since these patients have many stress factors that can affect the results? Okay, maybe the question is for Dr. Zul.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fazlina, for the question. So basically, we have several studies being reported for the effect of stingless bee honey in vivo in the animal study. One of it is the depression study, and number 2 in the diabetic study, and also the on the memory and learning, in which we can see a direct effect. For example, if in the diabetic model, we provide high-fat diet to a group of rats, where after 30 days, they develop the, atherosclerosis, they develop the diabetes, they develop the obesity, they develop the fatty livers, and also change in several blood parameters. However, the group that induced with the high-fat diet, but also given stingless bee honey, showed obesity, but they don't have a kind of change in their blood parameters, and then no fatty livers, no atherosclerosis, and then on the depression side also. But directly in terms of clinical, we also use the honey in the carbo loading study, in which we provide this English bee honey as a replacement for the maltodextrin used in the ERAS protocol or elective recovery after surgery. And then other study like honey have been presented before to show it's really helping in terms of wound recovery. And then clinical study also reported that this honey help to expedite the improvement of the stroke patient by more than 40% changes. So when we talk about initiating this translating this research in into the clinical trial. I think this is active program ongoing in medical school here. I think we have more than 17 clinical trials, and then we have several approval from the human ethic community that were working on it. But the criteria mainly is number one, of course, we have to know specifically the source of our honey in terms of the botanical origin and then the season of the harvest and particular species. And number two is where the honey being processed. Is it they come from the factory with the certified GMP, HACCP, and also ISO 22000, because we don't want to keep moving with the same strategy like previously. We just simply get honey from sometime from the Tasik Kenyir, from the Baling, from Cameron Highland, and later on we come when we finish we want to continue, we get from different places. So this will never allow us to get a very standard honey composition. But using the stainless bee honey, as you see on the building itself, we have several hives in which we can take the honey this year, and then we can repeat to harvest the honey next year for more than 7 to 10 years, right? So I think if we are talking about efficacy at the in vivo study, yes, the honey was proven with several published materials, and currently also ongoing on the clinical trials, and then showed several positive effects. And then we have the ecosystem of supplying the good quality honey to support the clinical research in USM.
Okay. We have another questions from the chat board. From Prof. Irfan, Dr. Zul, can you share the dose or frequency that we might be with no or comorbid should take to achieve its best benefits?
All right. Thank you, Prof. Irfan. So now, with the current situation of stressful life, or the food and the threat that we receive, of course, the recommendation dose from all the studies range from 10 to 20 grams per day. I mean, 10 grams is about 1 tablespoon, and 20 grams is about 2 tablespoons. So as for maintenance, I always recommend 20 grams. I mean, the 2 tablespoons every 2 days. I mean, same like you take every day, but sometimes because something at the kitchen we always forgot, and then unless we change the presentation of the the honey into a sachet, that we remember to take it 10 gram or 1 tablespoon per day, and then that's for the normal maintenance. But in the study that most of the study worldwide, utilization of honey is under the Food Act. It's not herbal, it's not the traditional medicine, it's not drug, it is under Food Act. So considering this, the honey is taken as a food, but with benefit. Therefore, if we are facing on the problems like infection or flu or fever, I would recommend taking honey with the more frequency, like twice a day in the morning and the evening, like 2 tablespoons for at least 4 days. And then but for the normal maintenance, we just want 2 tablespoons per day. All right. Thank you.
We have another questions also from the chat board from Dr. Surini. Dr. Zul, allergic to honey is rare. However, it needs to be taken into considerations, especially dealing with kids. So I would like to know what is the minimum age of children's honey could be introduced.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Surini. Okay, for the time being, of course, we are reports on the allergy due to the stingless bee honey is very rare. as you can see how the stingless bee honey, for example, produced through the direct suction from the honey pot. They are not like other honey a bit by a spinning or squeezing, in which there is a mixture of honey with bee pollens, and that trigger the allergy. But for the stingless bee honey, when we harvest absolute honey from the pot, very minimum or very rare case of allergy. However, if there is a consideration about this, I would recommend for those kids beyond 1 year old can start to take the honey, because honey is actually is a food, you know, so with the functional with the specific function. So from current situation, there is no harm to take the honey. And in fact, now we initiate the studies to see if there is a real contamination of the clostridiums inside the honey. And so far, there's no report on the stingless bee honey on this. Therefore, for the kids, yes, beyond 1 year old, you can start give the honey, usually half tablespoon or medium spoon every day. All right.
Okay, before we conclude, may I invite final questions from the floor? There is one question, Zul. From Dr. Siti Asma, do you have experience taking honey occluded with apple vinegar?
Thank you. This is a very important question, because you know, if we reflect back with the era of Avicenna or Ibn Sina, where when he want to use honey for remedy, he actually mix up the honey with apple cider, in which they call it a sakanjabin, or being replicated in the Rome tamadun. They call it otzi mel, otzi sour, mel honey, manis. So and then they use for the cardiovascular, for the brain, and also digestive system. But do we really need to mix? If we're talking about stingless bee honey, it's naturally producing acetic acid. The vinegar itself from from all the biocatalytic transformation happen in the honey pots. But it's really depend on the preference. Sometimes people want more sour, and then they think can clear better on their throat. So I think they no harm to mix. The only limitation is when we mix with something like protein or that make the honey the agglutinate, or mix with the other protein, in which reduce the digestibility or absorption of the honey. So as a divine food, I think this is really tailored with the highly intelligence method, in which when the honey goes into our body, it's really ready to be absorbed, and then immediate will give an immediate effect to our body. All right, thank you.
Okay, maybe I read the last questions from the chat board, which is from the Megat. The questions is it the normal light effects on the honey quality when the honey stores in the colorless bottles?
Yes, all right. Sure, when there is an effect of the light, when it's exposed to the light, that because in the honey we have several bacteria, and then there is also sugars, and then there is also some moisture, in which when they have a light, they will activate the process, in which leads to the dark changes of color to become dark. But there is also honey that harvested in dark color due to different resources. So to answer that, I think yes, if possible, we protect them in the dark color or dark space. So when we keep in our house, usually the light is not that intense like outside. And then most of honey, if in our context here, we already help purify or reduce the moisture content, in which we slow down the microbial activities.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, I think we have to the end of the 2 days monthly research presentations hosted by the HNPS Research Cluster. But before we officially end, I would also like to take this opportunity to share everyone that our research cluster will be a few projects from our research cluster. So I invite again the Dr. Zul to share Dr. Zul is actually our head for the cluster research of honey and natural products. So I again invite Dr. Zul to share our future projects.
All right, thank you. So now, to bring this cluster, honey research and natural product cluster, into another potential flagship, so we actually invite those who involved with the natural product and also honey research into this cluster, in which we can achieve collaborative research, innovative discoveries, and also sustainable solution and interdisciplinary team together. So for this 2026, we plan for a seminar Tadabur for the Surah An-Nahl with the Tadabur Center in April. We are also planning for Jamuan Raya, and also international seminar and Expo and Integrative Medicine in June. And then we also planning for the penerbitan buku with open for our members in a cluster to provide a contribution to the chapters. And also we planning for the patent filing workshop in August. So in the past event, everyone was invited. Everyone is invited to visit An-Nahl FB page, where we put all our activities here. And the one at the bottom in the picture is one of the visit by our DG of Health in Kelantan, and then at the An-Nahl. So can scan at the QR code there to join the WhatsApp group of this cluster.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm in paradise.
It gives you a new
It's so
insight.
good. And
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Especially
Yeah.
Thank you. I pass back to
Okay.